Jey Uso lost at Night of Champions, and what he said backstage afterward, completely unscripted, completely unfiltered, completely raw, is something that every single wrestling fan needs to hear, because it was not what anyone expected. It was not anger. It was not excuses. It was something far more powerful than either of those things. And by the time this video is done, you are going to understand exactly why this moment backstage might matter more than anything that happened inside the ring on the 27th of June. Stay until the end, because the final reveal changes everything. Welcome back to WWE Universal, the channel that breaks down every major WWE story with the depth and the passion it truly deserves. Now, before we get into what she said backstage, we need to build the full picture of what happened leading into this moment, because the aftermath only hits as hard as it does when you understand the weight of everything that came before it. Jey Uso is one of the most beloved performers in WWE today. He spent years operating inside the Bloodline, the most dominant faction in recent WWE history, before making the difficult personal decision to walk away and establish himself as a solo performer. That journey transformed him from a tag team specialist into a genuine main event force, and it earned him the kind of fan support that very few wrestlers in this era have ever experienced. When Jey Uso competed at Night of Champions 2026, he was not just chasing a championship. He was chasing the complete validation of everything he sacrificed to get there. The match itself was everything the WWE Universe hoped it would be. Jey performed at a level that reminded every single person watching exactly why he belongs in the main event conversation. But professional wrestling does not always reward the most deserving performance with the result that story demands, and on this night, Jey Uso came up short. The loss was devastating not because of what it meant on paper but because of what it represented emotionally for a man who has poured everything he has into proving that his solo journey was worth every difficult step. How does a man who has given that much process a loss at that scale? What does he say when the cameras find him backstage and the crowd noise has faded and all that remains is the truth of the moment? Before we go further, if you are enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel grow and keeps these videos coming. Now, back to the story, because what Jey said backstage is the question the entire wrestling world has been sitting with since Night of Champions ended, and the answer is far more compelling than any victory speech could have been. What Jey Uso said backstage after losing at Night of Champions was not the response of a broken man. It was the response of a man who has been through enough real adversity in his life and career to know the difference between an ending and a redirection. He did not blame anyone. He did not make excuses. He looked directly into that camera and said that losing hurt, and that it was supposed to hurt, because if it did not hurt it would mean he did not care. And then he said something that stopped everyone listening dead in their tracks. He said he would be back, not as a threat, not as a promo line, as a statement of fact delivered with the quiet certainty of someone who has already decided what comes next. That statement matters enormously because it tells us something specific about the direction of Jey Uso's story from this point forward. Most fans going into Night of Champions were predicting one of two outcomes: either Jey wins and the celebration becomes the story, or Jey loses and the storyline goes cold. Both theories miss something fundamental about who Jey Uso is as a character and as a performer. A loss does not end Jey Uso's momentum, it redirects it. And a man who responds to a championship loss with that level of composed, burning determination is a man whose next chapter is going to be more compelling than the one that just ended. The biggest name connected to everything that just happened is Jey Uso himself, and his current status in WWE is that of the most motivated, most emotionally loaded, and most unpredictable version of himself this company has ever had to work with. Everything covered in this video points to one direction. Jey's next move is not retreat, it is escalation, and whoever stands across from him in the first major chapter after Night of Champions is going to be walking into something they have never faced before. Prediction number 1: Jey Uso challenges for the championship again at the next premium live event, and this time the result is different because the motivation has been sharpened by the pain of the 27th of June. Prediction number 2: before that rematch is made official, someone from Jey's past inserts themselves into the story in a way that either complicates or accelerates his path back to the title picture. Prediction number 3, the most controversial prediction: Jey Uso's path back to the championship runs directly through a confrontation with Roman Reigns that nobody in WWE creative has publicly telegraphed yet, but that the entire Bloodline narrative has been quietly building toward for months. One of these three things will happen. The only question is which one. Jey Uso lost at Night of Champions, but his story is nowhere near finished, and what he said backstage proves that the most compelling chapters are still ahead. Drop your reaction in the comments right now. Do you believe Jey Uso wins the championship in his next shot, and who do you want to see him face on the road back? Watch our Night of Champions full breakdown next, every result, every moment, every implication covered in one video. We will see you in the next one.